Hi, good morning. This is the Bitcoin Morning Brief. We have Rodolfo somewhere, Giacomo somewhere as well, and Tony in his apartment. So Rodolfo, awesome. What's going on? What are you canoeing?
Yeah, we're portaging. Say hi, Mickey.
Hey, everybody.
That's an awesome hat.
We are somewhere close to the 45th parallel.
Nice, nice. Giacomo, you look relaxed.
Yeah, in order to compensate for Rodolfo's setting, I have to set up the most boring setting possible. So Rodolfo is like inside the jungle on a boat. I am in this old chair with very old furniture. So we balance out.
I can't believe we have signal here.
I have no idea how you have signal. Wait, what hat are you wearing? Is that a cowboy hat again?
No, no, this is the daily hat.
Interesting. All right, Tone, nice shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this shirt was a gift from a friend in London. I crashed there like one night, like not this past trip, but the trip before. So,
all right, let's start it. I don't know how long we're gonna get Rodolfo for on the lake before Big Fish comes. All right, well, actually, straight to your Twitter feed. When life gives you lemons, ask Andreessen Horowitz to acquire them. Hashtag look at me, Naval. Can you explain what this look at me, Naval situation is?
Sure. So Naval is a pretty famous VC, right, and a very successful guy, but he tends to post a lot of platitudes on Twitter, sometimes quite absurd, like how to get rich without being rich, or like very sort of deep things that are completely out there in his billionaire world where nothing makes sense. And so people sort of like couldn't take it anymore, all the blockchain stuff that he was posting. So John Cavani, Bitcoin Airlog, started posting like very funny posts with like, look at me, I am Naval.
Nice, nice. Giacomo, have you been following this too, having a little fun?
Not just following, but I've been participating. And if you look at the map of bad people propagating the hashtag, of course, the bigger names, more influential, like Whale Panda, Alexelion, are more visible in the center of the map. But I am quite visible. And I love this hashtag. I mean, at the beginning, it was just a funny way that John has to get under the skin of people, and he is a wonderful troll. He trolled Roger Ver very very good, and he was trolling Naval very very good. He's good at understanding your weak spots, and he's a very good troll in the artistic meaning of the word. So at the beginning, the hashtag was just funny. It was a little bit, if you remember, about the noted hashtag about Barry Silbert. So Barry Silbert answered with noted to somebody, and then everybody started to answer noted and noted, and I think went on for 1 day or 2 days, and it covered the entire crypto Twitter. And it is funny. But in this case, look at me, I'm Naval, transformed from a funny hashtag into a battle for the soul of internet, because actually what happened is that we were already kind of tired of using that hashtag. After the first 200 tweets, we were basically running out of juice. So it was already exhausted. And then these people started to become outraged. And a lot of people say that this was an organized conspiracy against Naval.
That was,
yeah, they call it cyberbullying, I think, at one
that
point.
was Bilaj, the guy who Trump wanted to be the FDA chair. He said that this was organized trolling.
Yeah, organized trolling is cyberbullying against one person. So basically, if we troll each other all day long, that's fine. We can joke about tons higher. We can joke about my Italian accent. We can joke about everything. But if you joke about these poor millionaire Silicon Valley VCs, then you have gone too far. That's cyberbullying, and you should shut up, because otherwise you're a terrorist. And so this outrage reaction basically fueled again this. I mean, if I was already tired at the posting, look at me and Naval. After I've read Balaj, basically he kind of he tagged Riccardo Spagni, Fluffy Pony, implying that basically it was maybe it was damaging the odds of Monero to be listed on Coinbase if it was not behaving very, very well.
He's
so,
very thick-skinned. Like he just couldn't take it. It's surprising. He takes himself too seriously for a billionaire.
Yeah.
When you are in the public, I mean, it's you can't like start attacking a bunch of people who like us don't matter.
This tweet that I just pulled up, he's saying that it's an ongoing vendetta, and that it's
oh God! I mean, seriously, this guy needs to get his head out of his ass.
Yeah, and he was talking about violent secret codes inside the tweets. So there is a tweet from Naval talking about a violent secret code, like they are secretly meaning some kind of violent suggestion. He's really out of his mind. But I have a very nice. So I don't know if I can upload into the chat something. Let me try. No, I cannot, because there was well, I will read it to you. There is a very good tweet by by Ed Latimore, so EDLATYMORE, and Ed Latimore wrote 11 hours ago, when you take things personally, they always offend you, even if they aren't directed at you. When you get your ego out of the way, nothing bothers you, even when it's specifically meant to. And Naval liked this tweet. So it's incredible. I'm like, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Tone, have you been playing too?
When the hell do you guys find the time? I did not even know this hashtag existed until like yesterday. Like when it blew up. Like when I somehow started getting tagged in these tweets from like Balaji and like I didn't know this was going on. I couldn't care less. Like this is what happens when you give something stupid attention because it bothers you. They just want to do it more. Oh shit.
It was he tried the Streisand effect, right? I mean, like he started trying to bully people privately to stop doing it. It was just too funny. Yeah. It's just if he just ignored it, it would have gone away. But the guy just couldn't do it.
Right, like look, I've never
Naval just retweeted the tweet. If Naval just retweeted one single "look at me" and Naval tweet, we would have stopped immediately. But then they just assumed that it was like criminal to mock somebody on Twitter, and so we couldn't resist anymore.
That's right. I blocked, therefore I chain. Hashtag I am Naval.
Oh my God. All right. More ridiculousness. So Kodak, hold on one second. Okay.
Oh, Kodak coin.
Oh, it's the best. But actually now the cash miner, Cash miner. So Kodak Bitcoin mining scam evaporates. So, right, the company behind the Kodak ICO, which we've covered a bunch, that's already, the plan is collapsing. Specifically, now the Kodak Cash Miner, which was at CES, right, tech show in Las Vegas, and a lot of people actually liked it there. Yes, critics are labeling it a scam, and it's pretty much falling apart. And miner buddies of mine, Giacomo, are you surprised at all?
Yeah, I'm shocked. Well, I'm surprised that that BBC is covering the collapse of a scam. Usually, the mainstream medias right now are covering all the fake promises, but they are never covering the hard reality that comes out of the noise after a while for every one of these scams. So while every one of these blockchain scams always delivers nothing, and all the promises of easy money gets of course disattended, this is at least a case in which mainstream media are giving some kind of visibility to the collapse of the scam itself. So yeah, I'm surprised in a way, because you are reading a scam collapse. Maybe this is wishful thinking, but I would like to think that this could be the beginning of a new narrative in which mainstream media will take turns and will enjoy the narrative of the scam collapse, something like the end of the dot-com bubble, when people was actually enjoying pointing out at the collapse of scams instead of just new scams being born. But I think this is wishful thinking. Probably we will see this phase in narrative in 2 years or something like that.
Thanks, Giacomo. Yeah, specifically, critics were saying that they did not take into account that mining Bitcoin is difficult. So kind of, oh, actually, we lost Rodolfo for a little bit.
Did we lose Rodolfo?
We lost Rodolfo.
Too bad.
I know. Maybe he'll come back. Tone, we know you love mining and you're great at it. Kodak.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't even like, obviously we covered it. We covered it on 2 separate occasions. I remember, I think that was before Giacomo joined this show. We talked about it like, and we didn't talk about it as a scam. We talked about it as just stupid, right? Like, I don't think, I mean, renting out hardware for stupid people to pay you to mine Bitcoin for them isn't a scam unless you're not actually mining them, the Bitcoin. I mean, it's a losing project. It's stupid, but hey, it's not actually a scam. So I actually would not call the Kodak project a scam. It was just dumb. It was dumb from the beginning. Now, of course, they were projecting ridiculous outcomes. So maybe, you know, they were going to be liable for like lying on those sheets. Yeah, there's the tweet that you're showing from Saifedean. And we talked about the profit schedule, and we knew it was completely, you know, unreasonable and bogus. But as far as I know, no one actually got scammed. No one bought into this. They said they never actually launched the operation. So they just came to a realization that they were going to lose people money, and it's now not happening. So it's exactly what we expected. Like this, we were right about that story, just like we're right about most of these stories.
Awesome. And just to note, right, the ridiculousness and demise of Kodak, which was bankruptcy 10 years ago, specifically, they don't even own the rights to their name. So I always find that a little bit funny. So yeah, just even the units at CES, right? The Kodak miner is not a Kodak brand licensed product. So units weren't even installed at their headquarters. They have a shady partnership for this ICO. I mean, everything is just wrong with Kodak. So everybody should read Saifedean's fantastic quote that there is no way your magical Kodak miner will make the same unless Bitcoin mining difficulty stays the same. Pretty simply put. Thank you, Saifedean. Okay, now ZCash mining though. So this story is saying that ZCash mining is 400% more profitable than Bitcoin. Giacomo, is this true?
I mean, I didn't check the calculation of the article. It could, it's difficult and it's true, and it stays true for a long time, basically because profitability drives hash power. Hash power in Bitcoin and Bitcoin clones drives difficulty correction. So basically at the end, hashing power tends to follow price, and profitability always get to kind of close to zero margin. So it's impossible for any cryptocurrency to be particularly profitable because eventually the difficulty will adjust to in order to make zero margin or something around that. So this is a non-news in general. Every coin can be locally, temporarily more or less profitable than Bitcoin, but in the that depends basically on the difficulty adjustment algorithm, or it depends on huge spikes in price, basically, and difficulty adjustments algorithm, and that's no news. I remember when also Bcash was for a while more profitable than Bitcoin, and that was more significant because being the same algorithm, some hash power actually moved to Bcash in order to mine it because it was more profitable for a while, and then the difficulty immediately got back to compensate for it. And so at the end, the clear sequence, the clear mental sequence to look at these things is utility, drives market cap, and utility basically is a digital gold, digital money, and then there is some expectation of future utility driven by hype and marketing. But basically, the real utility is digital money, digital cash, and digital gold. So utility drives market cap. Market cap can drive short-term profitability that can drive hash rate, but you cannot go the other way around. At the end, the inner utility of this token, which is basically nothing, is ZCash, because it's like a privacy clone of Bitcoin that has very low privacy because of the super small anonymity set of people transacting ZCash in general and people transacting ZCash with Z transaction in particular. So for two orders of reasons, ZCash has less anonymity than Bitcoin. So the inner utility of ZCash is basically null, and so the local profitability is mostly based on a secondary effect of price, which is itself a secondary effect of marketing in this phase of bubble.
Thanks, Giacomo. Tone, what do you think about the story?
Yeah, so like there's a couple of things. So ZCash is on the border of being a scam, right? So like the Kodak thing, I don't really think is a scam. It wasn't yet. It really depended on how they were going to run the cloud mining operation. If you're an ICO, you're a scam. I mean, it's really that simple, right? It really is that simple. If the only reason your company exists is because you needed an ICO to fund something that no one else was willing to fund, then you're automatically a scam token. Now, your idea may not be a scam, but the way it was financed with an unlicensed unregistered security, it's pretty much a scam. And if the SEC did their job, this would already be very well known and common. So we'll clear that up. Now, ZCash is in this borderline gray zone. Now, ZCash is a totally useless cryptocurrency. It is a very unethical cryptocurrency in that 20% of all the mining is going to Zuko and the investors like Roger Ver and Barry Silbert and whoever else invested and funded Zuko traveling around the world.
Naval as well. One of the
Naval,
investors
there you
is
go.
Naval.
And anyone else basically all these guys financed Zuko's public speaking engagements for 2 years as a keynote speaker, promoting the ZCash garbage and hyping it up for 2 years, and then launched. And then all these people that financed that operation, they got to get their cut. And their cut comes from a 20% in the first 4 years of all of the mining. So after the first 4 years of ZCash, all of these investors would have made a shit ton of money, and it won't matter, and they'll move on to another garbage crypto. So this thing does have a different mining algorithm. Therefore, you have to buy specific equipment. I think people are starting to realize that in the end, there will only be one cryptocurrency that is useful, one blockchain. And if you're still not sure, please go read the Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean, who we mentioned earlier. And so why in the world would a real major operation go and invest a lot of money into this mining of ZCash when ZCash can and probably will go to zero at any given moment? ZCash is also a centralized operation with a CEO and a company, and it is never going to be any kind of a decentralized cryptocurrency. It can't. That's not why it was created. ZCash was created for the one and only purpose of making a dozen or so people unreasonably rich, and that's it. And so why would anyone with 2 cents in their brain do that? Now, if you're just like one guy with a couple of miners, sure, you can go and mine ZCash and then immediately convert it into something useful like Bitcoin, and that can happen. But and that's why it's happening, right? Because there isn't a major mining operation of ZCash, and that's why it looks so profitable. The moment anyone wants to close that gap, it will no longer be so profitable, and you're sitting on an unreasonable amount of equipment of a cryptocurrency that is debatable if it's even a cryptocurrency. It's like Dogecoin, which is making a comeback. I think Dogecoin is more relevant to the world than ZCash is, and probably more useful.
That is our final story, but that's because I had a lot of fun with Giacomo's tweets yesterday. So I do find, so moving on, although I do find that very interesting. So everybody's been talking about this, so let's demystify it. Coinbase says that it has the green light to list coins deemed securities on Bloomberg. Simply put, the SEC, FINRA signed off on deals that give the Coinbase it's federal licensees that allow them to move forward with a bunch of acquisitions that really allow it to become, as they say, the first federally regulated venues for trading these digital coins, specifically that are deemed to be securities, TBD. But the move really does, at least right now, provide Coinbase licenses to operate as a broker. But this is also interesting, at least to me. Talk about scam coins. They said on Friday that they're looking to let users trade Cardano, basic attention coin. To be honest, never heard of this. Stellar, ZCash, and Ox. I will be honest, I also didn't know about that one so well. But again, it's like unofficial, and just adding that everybody knows right now you can trade Bitcoin, Bcash, Ether, and Litecoin. So, Tone, we know you love Coinbase. What do you think about this move?
I find it kind of comical. Well, I guess it's a chicken and egg, so I guess one of them had to come first. I've never heard of Ox either. The basic attention token is the ICO of the Brave browser. So it's the currency scam of the Brave browser that decided not to put ads on the browser, but of course they needed money. So what they did was they just, created their unlicensed, unregistered security in order to finance another, silly browser. So that's the basic attention token. So it's one of those chicken and eggs, right? Like once the SEC, if they eventually do their job, they'll call an ICO, or they should call every ICO, including Ethereum, an unlicensed, unregistered security. Or they can just call it a security. But once you're labeled a security, you can only be traded on licensed security exchanges. And since none of the traditional exchanges will probably list your token, you need a crypto exchange to do it. But none of the crypto exchanges were licensed to trade securities. So they decided to license Coinbase, and maybe this means that we're getting closer to the SEC announcing which of these ICO scams were unlicensed, unregistered securities. So what I hope will happen is every single one of these unlicensed, unregistered ICO securities, once they get labeled as such, the masterminds of these securities, from the lawyers to the promoters to the CEOs of the companies, get labeled what's his name, Howie from the Howie and the Hills case did, with potential legal ramifications. Don't send them to prison or anything like that, but give them a nice hefty fine and ban them from ever raising money again, ban them from ever being on a board again, ban them from ever being a C-level manager of any company again. And but since maybe their company is doing something, then allow their unregistered security now needs to become registered, and it can now be traded on regulated exchanges like Coinbase and probably Poloniex, because the SEC hopefully is not going to be stupid enough to give GBTC a sole monopoly. So hopefully they're not going to, so SEC and FINRA hopefully will not be stupid enough to give Coinbase a monopoly on trading the ICO that will be deemed securities. So they'll probably go with Circle and Poloniex as the second one of these things. And like, I don't know if the Winklevi twins are interested in shit coins, but if they are, they can probably get one of these licenses as well. And once these tokens, like Civic, like Veritasium, these are the bigger ones that may have the lawyers and may have the the ability to get themselves legitimized, even though their token. By the way, this is completely separate. This is why I call every single ICO token a scam. But you have to break down where the scam is. So right now we are talking about the unlicensed, unregistered security part of the ICO scam. Well, eventually the regulation is going to catch up to it. That is completely separate from the scam of the fact that the token is totally useless and totally unnecessary. And the only reason it exists is to get funding for the company. Like Veritasium doesn't need the Veritasium token. Civic doesn't need the Civic token for its operation. Ripple doesn't need the Ripple token for its operation. Even Ethereum doesn't need the Ethereum token for its operation. Once it goes proof of stake, it's just not necessary, right? Right now, while there's still a mining operation, they can kind of, have a reason for it, right? Like the only reason a Bitcoin token exists is because you have to reward the miners to process the transactions. If you don't have the miners processing the transactions, you don't need an incentive to mine the coin. So all of these ICO tokens, they're a complete scam from a functioning perspective because they're not needed. It's all bullshit. So you don't need any of these tokens. And Token Pay is the one I'm currently exposing this for. That's my current battle right now, but they're all the same. So I'm getting off topic here, but that's because it's like people think I'm overusing the word scam. I'm kind of underusing it. There's a scam A and scam B in every one of these ICO projects, and probably a C as well.
Thanks, Tone. And for the live chat, sure. Thank you for telling me that it's called 0x, except for Ox. I couldn't care less the name of the.
I still don't know what that means. Is that what's his name? Overstock thing? Is that
fucking shitcoin? All right. Well, I do actually know about this coin. Yeah, no. So it's actually yeah. Sorry, Giacomo. They tout themselves as a non-profit, and it's supposed to let like any developer build their fucking decentralized crypto exchange and decide on their fees. I mean, it's I think like the pinnacle of an absolute shitcoin because then it tries to promote other shitcoins. And they say it's like the Craigslist, so it connects traders without ever having to hold the tokens itself. And it I guess they say, right, cross-platform liquidity.
It's a Coinbase project. Someone's saying it's a Coinbase project.
So thanks, guys. Why don't I give a fuck how it's called?
Yeah, the decentralized exchange acquired, because of course you can acquire the decentralized exchanges.
That's right. Coinbase acquired a decentralized exchange. Yeah. Hey, you guys should watch the show Startup. They do all this. Startup. It's like it's like Silicon Valley, only not a comedy. It's more like the gangster side of the cryptocurrency. So that's what they were doing also. They acquired a decentralized exchange in that show too.
Yeah, absolutely true. And yes, for like the basic attention token, if I remember it correctly, it's derived from or like denominated by user attention. So I recommend you guys don't pay attention to it because it's a shitcoin. But yes, Giacomo, sorry. I'm done with that rant. What did you think about this story? Which is obviously beyond the shitcoins.
I agree with Tone about basically everything. I have a slightly more nuanced views about tokens and ICOs. I don't think that they are all. I don't think that something is a scam because it is illegal. I think that in some places Bitcoin is illegal as a form of money, but it's still not a scam. I think the problem of ICOs and tokens is that they are either illegal or a scam because if they really represent some kind of unlicensed, unregistered security of a business, that there is not yet a way to do that properly, because without a legal entity, you cannot enforce the rights of your smart contract. So there is not yet a way to do a unregulated black market, pseudonymous, decentralized security offering. If there was a way, that would be illegal, but not scam. The problem is that in order to be legal, these companies, they are scamming people because since they cannot really enforce any kind of decentralized security, then they have to centralize it with creating a company with faces and name. And so they are legally liable. And so in order to not be illegal, they become scams because they cannot sell a registered security. So they sell nothing, leveraging the fact that the market is in an exuberant bubble. And so the market thinks that those things are securities, even if they are nothing. So they are not scams because they are illegal. They are scams because they are trying to be legal. And so they are trying to be masked as utility token and all this nonsense. Anyway, Coinbase basically decided to qualify itself as an anti-Bitcoin business, just like BitPay did and Bitmain did. So if Bitcoin succeed, of course, Coinbase in the long run has finished because you cannot, strive in a post-Bitcoin world if your business is cultivating an anti-Bitcoin narrative and reputation since a lot. So the only hope for bad actors, anti-Bitcoin like Coinbase, is to hope in a future not of Bitcoin, not of hyper-Bitcoinization, but of hyper-shitcoinization. So if it's not about Bitcoin, but it's about this, Goldstein calls it the Scambrian explosion. So if it's about the explosion of any kind of scam, then something like Coinbase can maybe profit by the regulatory capture dynamic of getting first the state privilege to trade stuff that other people are excluded from because they are not licensed. So when you impose any kind of regulation, you have rent seekers that are trying to be regulated first in order to get over this barrier and keep any competition out of the barrier, so they can just rent seek in their privileged position for decades sometimes. And Coinbase wants to do that. They want to be regulated. They want to be their deregulated, compliant shitcoin market. They have everything to lose from Bitcoin victory in itself. They have everything to profit from a shitcoin explosion and confusion and crypto hype going on for a few years.
Well, just one last thought. Like, in a way, Coinbase, if again, like I know we give Coinbase a lot of shit, but Coinbase could have been something useful if they only put all of their $200 million worth of resources to actually properly having people buy and sell Bitcoin and having some of the best technology on the market, because they had the money to do it, but they diversified into shitcoins. Now, on the other hand, sooner or later, Coinbase was going to become useless because eventually Bitcoin will be either not traded at all on exchanges because enough people will have it and they will just use it. Like, no one trades the US dollar on exchanges, right? So Bitcoin will pretty much be the same thing. And or Bitcoin would be picked up through an ETF on traditional exchanges, in which case 90% of this stuff is all speculatory anyway. So no one really cares if they're holding the actual Bitcoin or they're buying the ETF. So while Coinbase had a chance to be a pioneer in the space and make so much money in the next, the rest of this decade, being the number one and the most liquid Bitcoin exchange and provider, only focusing on Bitcoin, to where maybe they could have made, billions of dollars in profit, and perhaps went out, and assuming they actually had some engineers that knew what they were doing, they could have went out and bought a traditional exchange, like an E-Trade, for example. They could have, instead of buying a decentralized exchange, go buy like E-Trade and bring some kind of innovation to market orders and routing that you could have built with all that money. But instead, they went into the shitcoin route. So we'll see how that ends.
Thank you. Those were very interesting points. And just to remember, we actually did cover this for everybody else, that they actually started this process back in June 6th when they actually acquired a securities dealer. I think it was like Keystone Cap. And I think there was a couple others. So they wanted to become like fully regulated broker deal by the SEC. And
yeah, you're right, Leah. You're so right.
Oh, I like being right.
I remember. No, I remember we talked
about it.
And that's exactly what we said. We're like, hey, it's so hard to get all of this paperwork done to be a compliant traditional securities exchange. It's easier to buy one that already has all of that licensing.
Right. And then they talked about it. I'm pretty sure that they wanted to absolutely work with the regulators to tokenize those. So it's like very, very much so. All right. Dogecoin making its comeback on Robinhood. Robinhood adds support for Dogecoin on its crypto platform. Giacomo, I loved your tweets about Dogecoin. You obviously love it. But what did you think about this story?
So so there is no point on the long run in having two monetary standards. It adds friction and it doesn't contribute anything. So people want one English language, which I'm badly using right now. People want one internet that we are using right now. People wanted one gold, so people will want one Bitcoin, and so that's why every other coin is shit. But if you want to do a shit coin, at least you may first do not antagonize the real stuff. So do not sell your shit coin lying about Bitcoin being inferior or defective or something. Just sell your shit coin that will not go anywhere. So we know that it will not go anywhere, but at least while you sell it for some kind of added value. So for example, Monero is selling some kind of experimental advanced privacy right now, and the Dogecoin was selling fun. Basically, it was a mix between a Bitcoin clone and a meme trolling campaign. So the origin of Dogecoin was basically, let's have fun. And the things that they discovered that even a joke can make money in this crazy bubble. But the things that Dogecoin people, at least, the creators and the first pumpers, they never stopped telling that this is a joke. It's like Cincinnati's Ponzi ICO.win smart contract, which is great, or the useless Ethereum token, which is traded at a huge price over exchanges, or the Lambo token, the Lambo ICO. So you can make a joke about this craziness. You can make this joke tradable, and people can trade a joke. But if it is stupid enough, then people will continue to have some kind of reminder that this is not serious. So Dogecoin, that there was a time where people were starting to seriously argue that Dogecoin was superior, was better than Bitcoin because of confirmation times and block size and stuff like that.
Hey, Giacomo.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanna point to one of those specific times. I know I sent Leah a video, but I actually want to play a clip of the video.
Sure.
Can I steal screen share from you, Leah?
You can. Okay. I could also pull it up if. Yeah.
No, I got it.
Ooh.
Here, check this out.
Dogecoin party.
Where titans of commerce speculate on the economic fortunes of the world. Where tourists flock to visit the financial center of the U.S. economy.
Can you guys hear this?
Feet from the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, it's quiet though.
Has opened its doors. Inside, a new financial culture is emerging.
I was there. I was there for this. It was amazing.
So the idea behind the Doge Party was it was basically
a giant Doge party.
Celebration of Dogecoin, and really a celebration of the online community that sprung up around Dogecoin.
I don't even care if it works or not. I'm not that invested in it. But the concept behind it, like I'm at a party for a meme-based cryptocurrency.
So the Doge meme is basically a really cute picture of a Shiba Inu speaking in like childish joke tones. So, I mean, it's a really popular meme. It was like, I think it was originally most popularized in Gawker by a writer named Adrian Chen, who said dollar currency that's like growing really quickly. Like, that's insane.
Our friend got us really interested. He told us about this new idea, but like none of us heard this.
That's your average altcoin trader, guys.
I want to get into mining. That's the thing. I want to get a machine so I can mine my own coin.
Here's how it ended, guys.
I definitely like the idea of being able to help people with these coins that I got them just by renting.
Here's how it ended.
A paper mache Doge head on the Wall Street Bull, and so just over the course of 2 days, they just made it, and it was awesome.
Does everybody know where the after party is? The after party is moved.
God, thank God I'm not anywhere in that video. I've watched this video like a dozen times. Thank God I'm not on somehow I managed to avoid the cameras.
Yeah, but now we have deep fakes, so it will be quite easy for people to insert you digitally there.
So they're chanting down with the bull, up with the Doge.
Is this real?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they meant, like
yes, I was there.
They meant it though, you know, like or
watch,
they were
just
just having fun and being silly.
Yeah, just having fun. It's there.
They're gonna revolutionize everything.
Did you guys see the pictures from the Canadian party Dogecoin conference?
Great as well. Great as well.
It looked like fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, they're not taking, I mean, most of them, I guess some of them are taking themselves seriously, and that's tragic, of course, but most of them are not taking themselves seriously. That's fine. I mean, we can joke about stupid stuff.
Tony, you're really liking this video.
Yeah, I still haven't found the photo of the Shiba Inus on top of the Wall Street Bull. Like, I'm super excited to see that.
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah, no, the parade. I had a great time at the parade.
Yeah, so you people have no idea. Like those were the real parties back then. Doge was, I mean, they sponsored like a luge team. There was like a race car. Like Doge was as popular at the time as I guess Ethereum is today.
Sure. The difference that Ethereum, I mean, in Ethereum, they do silly dances while they pretend to be applied cryptographers or distributed system engineers or open source developers or security experts while they are good at dances on the stage. In Dogecoin, or Dogecoin, I never really understood the right pronunciation. The thing is more honest. Like if you are good at, you don't have to be good at cybersec or financial securities or applied cryptography or game theory. But if you're good at partying, then Dogecoin is for you. That's more honest. That's a honest value proposition.
But I mean, those parties look like a lot of fun, especially, you know what I'm talking about, the Canadian conference. I mean, they were having a lot of fun. Although, unfortunately, we have.
Still, yeah, you can participate to the parties without acquiring the Dogecoin itself. So again, the utility token has no utility as always. You can participate to the platform, so you can have a party without really buying the token.
Oh God, I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for this statement, but I really dislike Shiba Inus. That could be because my pup here would eat them with his 120 pounds of muscle, but they're actually a fight. I'm okay. No comment on the Doge point. I can't.
The internet would be so mad right now.
So we could move on to honestly to TA at this point. The last comment we were gonna make, or I guess just to say, because we had fun with Dogecoin, that it is, at least in my opinion, maybe you guys could chime in really quickly on this, that Robinhood, right? This is a new service offering. I mean, that's not what they started out, right? They're a stock brokerage that allows customers to buy and sell, right? The listed stocks ETF. And they say with zero commission. I mean, that was like what made it super popular, especially with millennials. It's like their easy opportunity to buy and sell. But really, that's like pretty much not true. They claim there's no fee, especially on crypto, but like it's not possible with the way that it's actually structured. So the way that they're doing this for crypto is that actually like they created a second company and that doesn't comply with the same regulatory framework. So because it's not a broker dealer. So just to say, and also, which is a fun one for you guys, you can't manage your own wallet address. So you have to convert to fiat and go into it. So finishing off with Robinhood, and again, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bcash, now Dogecoin. Great pick, guys. Do you want to make one last statement on this, just the service offering itself of Robinhood and their crypto offerings now?
My last comment is much trading, very profit.
Yeah. Tone?
I mean, I never really cared for the Robinhood app. I think that if one of the reasons why you're choosing who to trade with is the fact that you don't want to pay the fee, or you can't afford the fee to make a trade, maybe you shouldn't be trading.
Yeah, and again, it's not an exchange, right? They use a third-party exchange.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. It's a sleek little app, but we'll see on this one. Now they have Dogecoin. All right, now I'm not gonna go back to screen share. Pretty simply put, everyone's been talking about Peter Thiel investing in Block.one. I did want to include that just because I love EOS, as everybody knows that. And obviously Peter Thiel is brilliant. So just wanted
people are not going to get your sarcasm, Leah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble like you have recently. So I will stop it there. Maybe I'll put it on Twitter. But Tone, since you also love EOS with me and Block.one especially, he totally understands what's going on here. And I did like Whale Panda's tweet that I was going to show up. So let me read it really quick, sending this one to you. Whale Panda, often after I received $4 billion in funding, I also think to myself, I need more funding. $4 billion isn't enough. That only allows me to go to full billionaire mode 4 more times. And then he has the Peter Thiel and Jihan Wu, so also Bitmain, investing in Block.one. Tone, brilliant investment. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a brilliant investment for Peter Thiel, who can pump an unlicensed, unregistered, useless token like EOS through an ICO to unqualified investors. So it's a great investment for the insiders that have this ability. Now, if the regulation doesn't want to do anything about it, then that becomes the new normal. They raised $4 billion, and now they're going to raise more, because guess what? If they can sell you a useless security, an unlicensed security that gives you absolutely nothing, the terms of EOS, the terms of service on the EOS token, basically said this token is useless. This token is nothing. This token has no value. And yet people bought it to the tune of $4 billion just because it was another Dan Larimer scam backed by people like Peter Thiel. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where this goes, because this is completely unethical. Not that I ever really had. I mean, I didn't really know anything about Peter Thiel other than his prior investments like Facebook and PayPal. But I have zero respect for Peter Thiel. I don't think he is good for the space. I think he's I think it's terrible. I don't think he's an expert at all. And this will end very badly. You people have to realize that the bigger this insanity goes through a bubble, the bigger the pain we're going to get. Just like the pain we're suffering right now with the price of Bitcoin going down to $6,000 from $20,000 hurts a lot. But if we only topped at 7,000 and fell to 3, and then we would have gone back up by now. So the more these things go up, the bigger the drop down. And if they go up high enough, the drop down will completely destroy the entire concept of that idea, because there is a point of no return on the way down. But we all know that none of this shit is decentralized. We all know that EOS is completely centralized. Jimmy is always making the mistake of making them 28 node centralized. They're actually only 21 nodes centralized. That is all of Dan Larimer's ideas. They're centralized to 21 nodes that can do whatever they like and perpetually print money for themselves through POS.
I believe I could be wrong, came up with that algo for BP for Verge originally or something like that.
No, it was for BitShares and then Steemit and now EOS. And really? Look, eventually Dan Larimer is going to leave EOS because there's enough interest out there to fund another one of his scams. And he's going to try to build something else and do it again.
Giacomo?
So EOS is a Uber scam, as Tom said, is the third scam of Danny Larimer after the BitShare scam and the Steam scam, and probably it's not the last if the markets goes on like this. So yeah, EOS is a scam. The fact that Bitmain is investing in a scam is not really concerning for me. I mean, yeah, they're making money mining, that now they will make money pumping scams. Unlike Tone, I did feel some kind of respect and interest in Peter Thiel, not just because back during the times of X.com with Elon Musk, he was already trying to create some kind of independent form of internet money. Then by his own admission, they failed to do that, and they basically built PayPal, which is not a new form of independent money anyhow. So it was interesting to listen at Thiel about the early days of the X.com experiment, the pre-PayPal times. And it was very interesting to listen to Peter Thiel about some kind of economical theory discussion. Peter Thiel is or pretends to be or says that he is a libertarian, and but he challenged many of the typical libertarian economical thinking dogmas. Like I remember a speech by Peter Thiel in 2008 or 2007, something like that, about the fact that an entrepreneur wants to be a monopolist, not a violent monopolist, but any entrepreneur that doesn't like maximum competition, and everybody's trying to create a monopoly on his own specific kind of service and to be irreplaceable and unique. And so basically another term for irreplaceable is monopoly. So I think that he created a very provocative and insightful and original content for the economical discussion. Also, Peter Thiel funded the Seasteading Institute along with Patrick Friedman about floating independent city in international waters. And I was like a huge fan of this kind of initiative. One problem with Peter Thiel is that a few years ago, he had this Trump crash. So he stopped following any kind of exotic science fiction libertarian idea like Bitcoin or seasteading, and he started to support Trump, which is not so much. I mean, I can understand it can be funny sometimes, but it's not very advanced libertarianism. And also recently, I mean, there were some bad episodes about Peter Thiel. I think this is one of them. I sincerely hope for him that he knows that he also is a scam, and he's just pumping and dumping. He just wants to make money with a pump and dump. If that's the case, I'm sorry for the people that will buy in that. I'm sorry for the people that will lose money because of that. But at least he knows what he's doing. If he's really buying the narrative of scam coins and EOS and this kind of stuff, that means that his earlier comprehension about Bitcoin has been lost, and now he switched from a somehow interesting guy to the last gullible average Joe. So I hope that Peter Thiel is unethical, and I hope that what he is doing is pumping and dumping, and not really thinking that this thing has any kind of economical interest at all. Also, it's a bad thing that an influential rich guy is somehow now in bed with Jian Wu as for economic interest. That's a bad thing in general, because when you are in partnership with somebody, you tend to protect his interests. And since it is in the best Bitcoin's interest to take down Bitmain with any mean possible. So that could mean that we would have to take down Peter Thiel as well. As we demonstrated with Naval thing, Bitcoin is not afraid of VC guys, so who cares at the end?
Very interesting. Yeah, everybody's talking about Bitcoin pumping. To your point, Giacomo, you were absolutely correct. He was the biggest supporter, and it was heavily pushed back against in Silicon Valley for Trump. He pledged a lot of money to his campaign for the super PAC. And additionally, for anyone else, I mean, he's no stranger to investing in very young kids. So he started the Founders Fund, but he also has these huge scholarships. I was at the first Forbes 30 under 30, and he was there promoting all the entrepreneurs who they can even be from high school, but it's actually to drop out of college and start your own startups. And he'd back them with capital to do that. A lot of kids from MIT, et cetera, but to leave school. And that's the promotion as well. That
was one of the things that I found very provocative and funny. And fun fact, the character of Peter Gregory of the Silicon Valley show, Sitcoin, is partially inspired on Peter Thiel, especially when he's hating college so much and asking everybody to drop college.
Yep.
And that was one of the funny parts of Peter Thiel, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely. And we can definitely learn from more out in life rather than school, but to promote it so much by giving kids a lot of money, debatable subject. But yeah, absolutely. All right, Tone, serious look on your face there. Maybe it's because you're watching Bitcoin.
Watching a couple of things, not just Bitcoin, but yes, let's go take a look at the price. All right, so once again, my workshops, I will leave North America on September 1st. I will not be back until 2019, so I'm gone the rest of the year. I will be doing Australia in November. Once these seminars come off the screen, I haven't added them yet. You can also view full schedule, but I don't think it's gonna, I don't think I have anything else here. I'll pick the date for Bangkok soon, and it'll be in October. And then in November, I'll be all over Australia. So, but those are the workshops. Also, you know, the education, learn trading section, need to put some updates in there. And if you guys like my work and want to support my work, please check out the affiliate codes. Okay, Bitcoin. Monthly chart doesn't really change. Weekly chart. So it looks like we've gone up a little bit higher. We're at 67.50. So we continue to be in the $6,000 to $7,000 area. I actually want to pull up. Oh, I closed the article. Damn. I closed them all. Shoot. Let me try something here. I want to pull up the Bloomberg article that Leah sent earlier. Or did she screen share? Damn, which article was that?
Do you want me to pull it up?
No, I got it. I'm just gonna hit Control-Shift-T enough times and it'll show up. I hope.
Don't die.
Jeez. Oh yeah, there it is. Eventually it shows up. Here it is. Right. So like once again, the price goes up a few $100 and people, you know, go crazy. Here is the chart from Bloomberg, one of the articles that we talked about today. Please tell me where on this chart you see a raging bull market. Please. Like this little turn right here, that little turn is your raging bull market. How is this turn any different than, let's say, this little turn right here, right? Like I don't understand people. Like what is it about this current $300 move in the upside of Bitcoin makes you believe that we are ready to go to $20,000 or $1 million a coin? Like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Is it possible that this is the bottom? Yes. What is the probability I'm giving it? 10%. Is it possible to win on a bet where you have 10 to 1 odds? Well, let's see. Trump was a 7 to 1 underdog against Hillary, and he won, right? So yes, it's possible that this is the low of Bitcoin. What is the probability of that? 1 out of 10 at best. So I don't understand why every time Bitcoin goes up $300, my entire Twitter feed gets flooded with people saying that the bear market has ended. I have heard this for the last 4 months, almost every time Bitcoin goes up a few $100s. So no, the bear market has not yet ended. It's possible that it has, but in my opinion, we have a lot more to go. We're still working on the depth cross. Can the price bounce all the way into the depth cross at 8,300? It could. Is it likely to happen at this point? Well, maybe. If next week gives us a higher intra-week high, I might go short-term bullish into the depth cross. And after that, I will once again be a bear. This was a tricky 9 to play to the upside because it reversed from a 7. So that made it tricky to trade. We're still, I heard all of this 2 weeks ago, by the way, too. So if next week is exactly like last week, we are now back to the $6,300 area. So let's see how this week ends. Here's the daily chart. The daily chart is working on its 3rd day of upside, maybe 4th. If we can break 6,800, well, actually, no. If we can break 6,800, it becomes something. You have additional resistance at 7,000. Then you have resistance at 7,600. And then you have resistance at 8,000. And then you have resistance at 8,300. So you see how you have all of these resistance points? So how can you make a long trade? The moment you make a long trade, you are buying right at resistance that can drastically crash the price. So I would not be buying at any point until after we clear all of the resistance hurdles. Here's the 12-hour chart. The 12-hour chart is coming up on a 9. So in about 24 hours, you're going to have double resistance between this line and the setup trend line, the TDST line. And so you have to be careful about that. If we can break above the TDST line, it's very likely we'll continue going higher, but we have to break it first. And so far we haven't. I expected the price to be much lower by now, but I'm not stepping away from my $5,000 target. Here is the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is on a 9, also right at the TDST line. So there you go. So your 4-hour chart is almost in line with the 12-hour chart, both saying that there should be a correction. Your 1-hour chart is kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I would be very careful with any long trades right now, because your 4-hour chart is telling you at least a 1 to 4 candle pullback. And when that pullback is supposed to end, your 12-hour chart will tell you, hey, you might be looking at a 2-day pullback, 1 to 2 day pullback based on a 12-hour chart. So you want to take those seriously. So it's very, very difficult to time your long trades at the given moment. This is GBTC. I'm going to do maybe we'll do a video later tonight. I've been chatting with Tyler about doing some GBTC research. So maybe we'll get to that. The S&P. The S&P is having a very good week. And like I said, bullish. We have a green 2 above a green 1. The 1 to 4 weekly correction has played out as I expected. We bounced right off the 30-week moving average. The price is up. Moving averages are all trending up. They're all above each other. I am very, very bullish the stock market. Here is the daily S&P chart. What a beautiful day. We are now coming off a 9. We had a 2-candle slowdown. Gorgeous day right here. Back above 2,800. Again, fully invested. Look at this. The daily price of the S&P, your 2 did not really go above a 1, but your 3 is above a 2. Fully bullish across the board on the S&P. Fully bearish across the board on gold. Gold is breaking this trend line. I'm about to set an $800 or a $900 target on gold. Oh, we got to talk about gold. So remember how I said, hey, the $800 high in gold, this is the monthly chart of gold, right? And I had said, hey, it's very likely that gold will fall down to the prior high, which was $800, but inflation adjusted, maybe 800 from 1980, inflation adjusted is about 1,045. Anybody want to take a guess what the inflation-adjusted $800 price of gold is today? Leah, you guys are muted, but just take a guess because I was way off. I thought it was going to be about 1,050, but I was way off. You guys are still muted, by the way. And no Googling.
Yeah, to be muted to hide the sound of the keyboard Googling. No, I have no idea as well.
It's like $2,600. Right? So what does that tell you? Right? We're going to talk about this on another video. Oh, shoot. Is Rodolfo back? Oh, I didn't even keep an eye on that.
Rodolfo's back.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm just Rodolfo.
Did you hear my question, Rodolfo?
We can't see you though, Rodolfo.
No, I just added him.
Oh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, 1,100. Wait. There you go.
The gold was $800 in 1980. Inflation adjusts $800 to today from 1980.
I think the price right now is 1,100, right?
Well, the price of gold is 1,100, right? But if you had $800 in 1980, what is that worth today, inflation adjusted, based on government statistics?
Oh, I can't remember. 1,400?
No, it's like 2,400.
Oh, wow.
Right. So just think about that, right? But it's 40 years. It's 40 years of inflation, right? So 40 years of inflation. Wow, that's a lot. So what does that tell you? If gold was able to only keep its value inflation adjusted, it should be worth like $2,600 an ounce or $2,400 an ounce. But it's only worth $1,200 an ounce, $1,230, and dropping like a rock. So how good of an investment is gold these days? Jesus Christ.
I mean, U.S. and Canada are dumping their gold.
Who is?
Canada dumped all the gold last year, the year before.
It
was coming.
All right, let me just pull up one last chart because I only promised a couple of friends that I would. And that's Amazon. This is currently Amazon. This is the 10-minute chart of Amazon. And yesterday, when I did Amazon, it was at exactly 11:50. It was around this time, 11:50 in the morning on US. We were forming this triangle, and using the 10-minute candle, I said, hey, look for a $13 upswing. I should have said $12 because if you do the math on this fat part of the triangle, it's a lot closer to 12 than 13, but it looked like I rounded up, so it was 13. And over the next hour and a half or 2 hours, we actually went up like $12. So that was a pretty damn good call, I thought. And then the Amazon website didn't work. They launched Amazon Prime, and their website went down. So the stock took a bit of a hit. In the morning, Netflix reported really bad earnings. But look how Amazon has recovered. Amazon has just made a new all-time high about 30 minutes ago while we were on this video. It tops on a 9 on a 10-minute chart. So hopefully my friends were able to get out because I'm assuming they know what they're doing. If not, I still think there's more life in Amazon, but it's very, very short-lived because if you look at the daily chart of Amazon, that's the hourly chart. Where's the daily chart? If you look at the daily chart of Amazon, we are on an 8 of 9 on Amazon daily with a huge day. Earnings is coming next week. There's your earnings announcement. This is not a reversal candle. There is no reason to get scared. However, sometime tomorrow, it's very likely that Amazon will top on a daily chart off of a 9. It could be a 9 that looks like this, like what happened back in June, where the following candle gave you a high. That's very possible. But look at the last 2 9s, this one and this one, the one in June and then the one late June. They were both gave you a nice little correction. Both of them gave you a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then you went back up. So if you are in the Amazon trade, be very, very careful tomorrow or the next day with Amazon because it's looking like momentum wise it's starting to top. So there you go. Did we lose him again? Damn it.
We did. Do you know that Bezos became the richest man yesterday? Over 150.
Oh, nice.
Wasn't a bad day. All right, Rodolfo. Oh, also, Thor got really tired because we had him eat a Shiba Inu during the show. Big guy. All right, so we'll end. That was a long show, but a great show. Lots of fun. Rodolfo, we missed you for a little bit. You want to show just like your background, make us feel relaxed today?
Oh, hang on. Man, let me show you the front here because this is where I'm spending the night.
Nice.
Damn.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. Let me put him on the big screen. Whoa.
Come to Canada, folks.
No one can find you and kidnap you there, I think.
Nope.
Wow.
Unless Rodolfo himself is already kidnapping somebody there. Because
Hey, invite us next time. I'm usually home in the summer. Leah will be walking again in a week or two.
Yep.
That's right. I'll take you guys back in the.
We lost him.
The bush in Canada.
Nice. Well, thank you, Rodolfo and Giacomo. Have a great day. You look relaxed too.
You too as well. And bye, Rodolfo, and bye, Tone.
Tone?
Yeah, bye, guys. Good luck trading. I just got a tip with the question. Says, at what price do you become long-term bullish instead of setting up your cooking show? It depends. I don't know. Like at what price am I going to be bullish? If we never go lower than 6,000 again, then I'll probably become bullish somewhere in the $12,000 to $14,000 range. If we go all the way to 1,300, I'll probably become long-term bullish around 5,000 on the way back up, which is lower than the current price. So it's impossible for me to say right now at which point I'll become bullish. That changes daily with the price of Bitcoin.
For anyone that's a little concerned about this market, just remember 2013. I mean, we had a slump for a whole year.
No, year and a half.
I think we got down to 280.
I'll tell you, it was worse than that. We fell from 1,200 to 150 by January, but then in August, it went again down to 180. And then it didn't start going up till September. So we had
that's it. That's the bottom.
A year and 9 months.
That's right.
A year and 9 months of bear market.
Tone, I don't think that was a binary question.
So you know what? Just,
go, Rodolfo.
Just zoom out, look at the price, zoomed out, and get out and go do something else. There's no point in looking at the charts right now.
Yeah.
Or build a business that will function if the price of Bitcoin falls to 1,500. Is your business going to function, Rodolfo, if the price of Bitcoin falls to 1,500?
Exactly.
Last comment, Tone. That was a two-part question, I do believe. Are you, or at least just not binary? Are you still planning to do a cooking show though?
I would like to. I don't have the time. I'm actually really trying to focus on the lawyer show now that I might need a couple. It's a really good show.
Okay, I don't know how serious I was with that question, but thank you for answering.
Yeah,
all right.
It's a lot, and I'm about to start traveling. Let's see how that goes.
Maybe carnivory.
Nice.
Everybody,
yes, carnivory.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Wait, this mic.